Hi, welcome to Startup Out of the Box, a regular podcast about startups with Marco Silva and Victor Domingos.
On this episode, we're going to do some 2019 predictions, or at least we're going to talk about those. It's going to be our first episode of this year. I hope that you had a good holiday and a good Christmas and Happy New Year to you and to our listeners.
Yay.
So we have a few list of predictions for this year.
Opinions,
yeah. But we can. I think that we can split them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different areas.
Yep.
So the first one is, what do we think that is going to happen in the workplace when it comes to startups? Then, if co-working is still going to be a thing. Then talk about technology. What kind of technology will startups adopt this year? Also money, and then at the last topic is going to be about founders, right?
Yep.
So starting first, probably with the first
Workplace.
one, workplace. So predictions for this year.
What's
what do
your
you think?
opinion? Let's start with you.
Workplace. Well, I think that first of all, that kind of idea of open space is gonna be lost. People will need probably more focus, and they need their own working space rather than just be on this kind of open space when it's open to distractions and it's open to people just talking to you and stuff like that. So you need to regain focus and do your kind of work. I'm not saying that people are going to go back to the closed offices and stuff like that, but it's going to be more control, I think, and probably less play and more work in the workplace.
I think a good balance on the open space, like the open space that we see nowadays of a huge, massive room where 100 people can sit, like a warehouse, or like when you go to WeWork or stuff like that. I think those places need to change. Open space, more of an environment of like a room, like a team open space. So it's a small room where 5 or 6 people can sit, or 10, like the size of a team. So it's an open space for the team instead of the entire company. I think that will be a better solution instead of one office per person. And because then that what the team is talking, it's what you are interested in. It's your environment. It's not you in the open space listening to someone talk about the news opera or or politics, or talking about the project that someone else is doing. It doesn't affect you. I think so. A team open space instead of a company-wide open space, I think that's the best way to go for this.
But that's I would say that will be a mix between workplace and, we can say, co-working as well. But in the workplace, I think that's kind of important to mention. But with probably more detail, a few of the notes that I have here is probably HR needs to reinvent itself, the way that we do HR within our company. Probably less the discrimination. We talked about this the previous year, about discrimination, about the startup environment. Remember when we mentioned that less beer Fridays and stuff like that, and more kind of other types of integration when we be
more open to different experiences, different people. Okay, we know that some people think, but this is the culture of the company. Well, if your culture is beers, then I think that's not really culture. That's stuff that people do. But
I also think that HR, as I said, needs to reinvent itself. It's not. I don't think that we have a proper solution to do hiring. I do like the whole LinkedIn concept when do you just post a job and do that kind of stuff. But I think that the HR people need to go the extra mile and actually find this kind of talent rather than just wait for the talent to come into the company. It
not
needs
depend
to be
only on recruiters. Because most of the people out there are already tired of recruiters. And like I talk to myself, when recruiters come talking to me, I completely ignore them. But if it's someone from a company, it might be interesting to talk to them, because you see, it's directly from the company. So there's more value in this than another recruiter, because, well, everyone is a recruiter nowadays almost.
Exactly. So, and then with HR, maybe we can have a specific topic this year about this. But I have a lot of ideas when it comes to what kind of CVs do we expect at startups or even at enterprise. How do we apply for these kind of jobs? How do we find them? Is it good to do the whole conference circle and just try to get involved into this kind of and pitch ourselves to the company within these kind of conferences, or should we do other stuff? So, but we can leave that for a specific topic that we can do this year in And the other one I just said was kind of less discrimination. I think that's kind of obvious from last year, the Me Too movement and all of that thing. I think that startups, because the kind of the culture is kind of entrenched in that kind of the boys and the guys there, that kind of culture needs to change, right? It needs to be more open. And probably we could talk about also people leaving the companies, not just joining. I think that and this is kind of interesting topic because I've seen this previously, is people waiting to get the bonus or to get some kind of benefit and then just leave after that. So expect a lot of people just waiting for that specific time, either to get stock options or to do something, and then probably they're going to leave.
You had an example recently of the WhatsApp team on Facebook. Most of the WhatsApp team left Facebook right after the bonus and
arrived,
and the cliff ended. So they got all the money, all the stocks, and they decided to leave the company right on the next day. So
that's good.
Yeah. So, but if people are staying in your company just because of the bonus and the stock options, well,
it's better that they leave. And the thing is, maybe they're going to leave, and not just one person, but entire teams, because then they be. Because if you have that kind of team culture and the environment is going to change, then if a team just the person, like let's say a manager or someone really important within that team just leaves, the probability of the other ones that work within that team to leave will be higher.
If they consider him a good manager, exactly. It might be other people will be leaving the company to follow him.
The last one, when it comes to workplace, it's that skills will be ranked by automation. So,
what do you mean by that?
It means that the skill that you're going to have needs to be correlated to the kind of automation that you can bring to the company. So it's not going to be manual work that we need to hire. It's someone that can understand how to automate work.
Okay.
So your skills need to be oriented to either automate the cloud, automate development, automate something. You need to be focused on what kind of automation should you have in your skills. Not just, well, I can launch machines in Amazon Web Services. I'm a sysadmin. No, you need to be more than that. You need to automate.
You need to automate what you can so you can focus on the different things.
Really
the things that bring us value.
Exactly. So moving to the next topic, co-working. So we mentioned about the open space, that's good. But the thing is, I think that the co-working thing will blow up this year. Interesting enough, a few days ago, someone noticed that the WeWork founder just sold some shares at WeWork to buy the buildings, then to rent them
back to WeWork.
So that's well, back in my time we would call that money laundering, but now I think it's
internal investing or something like that.
Yeah, right now it's kind of legal.
Unethical but legal.
Yeah, but if you think about that, it's pretty much what McDonald's does, right? It's a McDonald's model. So McDonald's, what happens is that McDonald's as the company it is the most important company in the world when it comes to real estate. Because what they have is, when you open a McDonald's shop or something, it's going to be owned by McDonald's. It's not the owner that gets the franchise. It's McDonald's owns the place. They rent the place to you, and you pay a fee to use the McDonald's brand and manage the whole thing. So that's where they get the money, and then they fund themselves because they have real estate, and then and it goes back to the business because they have an asset. It's the real estate. It's the place. It's the building. It's the shop.
Yep.
That's how they make money. It's not with the burgers. It's actually with you need to see one movie called The Founder that explains the whole McDonald's business. It's really important, and I think that the guy from WeWork is actually doing the same. But not for the company, not for the WeWork, but for himself.
It's not WeWork that's owning the business, and
it's himself.
It's himself owning the buildings.
It's a good business for him, not probably for WeWork.
But I felt the co-working it's interesting because there was a discussion a few weeks ago on Twitter where someone was showing some numbers, for example, regarding London, that he could rent an office space for a team of up to 20 people, and it would cost him 70k a year, while on WeWork the same space would cost like 100k a year. So it was like, why would I go to WeWork if I can just get the office space for 70k?
Because of the coffee.
Yeah, but the thing is, what most people say, like, okay, if you have your own office space, then you have to worry about the electricity, the maintenance, the internet. You're gonna have an office manager to deal with all of the stuff. While WeWork, you kind of already paying that in the service. So instead of paying out of your pocket for a salary for someone to manage the office and all of the maintenance bills. We work at other co-working spaces. Deal with that. So I think that's a pros and cons that you have to realize what it is. I think nowadays owning your own office space, if you're a small team, it's pointless. I would say co-working space or remote are the best solutions for that. Of course, when you go up to like a 50 team or 100 and you want to have people together, then it's okay. I think at that point
you're big enough to have your own space.
Exactly, because it will justify itself.
Yeah, we also discussed this last year. So about all of the options when it comes to co-working and have our own office.
But I feel like this year it's more and more common. New startups, I think this is already the default. It's the co-working space or remote. It's becoming more and more.
But don't you think that the co-working will blow up the whole thing, probably with WeWork or similar? Because or is that going to be still a trend this year?
I think some of them might suffer because there might be too many co-working spaces around there.
Okay.
I see in London we have, I don't know how many WeWork offices.
A lot of them.
And
it's not just WeWork. Yeah. It's a different. It's also other ones.
Yeah, but WeWork is I think the most expensive one, or one of the most expensive ones. There might be some more expensive, more fancy. I don't know, but it's one of the most expensive ones. So
yeah. It's not going to be probably. Well,
no,
we'll see. We'll see. Well, it's a prediction, so we don't. We suppose. Well, I think something is going to happen.
Yep.
I don't know what.
I don't understand WeWork's valuation, but yeah, technology.
So, for me, I mean, for this topic, the first one, cloud first, mobile first. It's kind of the same that happened the previous years, but we're going to see that more this year.
Yeah, it's the default nowadays, I would say.
I'm probably going to add, and because I'm using more the Oculus Rift, I really like the whole VR concept, and I think that if it's not going to be this year, it's going to be next year when you're going to have more VR, either content or games, and less expensive games, because the games at the VR, it's still expensive for the experience that you get.
Yeah.
So you just pay for the experience rather than the game itself. We don't have a lot of very good games there, and they're quite expensive. So we're talking about 20, 30 pounds for a game that you can play for an hour and stuff. So it's not the whole experience of the whole gaming needs to improve. But when it comes to technology and startups, I think that cloud is going to be big. So if you're not using any kind of cloud service, you're a fool. If you're not betting on mobiles, so smartphones and stuff like that, you're still not. You're gonna go through. I think that's kind of my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more on comparing to VR. I think AR. Apple should be releasing soon, if not this year, next year. They will be releasing something AR. Something like the Microsoft HoloLens. I think they will release the competitor to that quite soon. So I think AR will have a bigger advantage over VR, at least in the short term. Long term, I don't know how that's going to play out, but in short term, I think AR is going to have a boost quite fast this year.
Okay.
If Apple releases this year their product, so I think there.
The other things. So. And because I took these notes around Christmas, so it wasn't around CES this year, and actually what I saw is the IoT, so artificial Internet of Things. So when you bring all of the machine learning to the small gadgets and small devices that you have, I think that's going to be kind of the future, at least what we would expect at CES. So what we saw at CES actually this year. But to be honest, I'm quite tired of the whole Internet of Things thing. I think that not all devices need to be connected to the internet. Yeah. We have the microwave, we have the fridge, we have the TV, we have pretty much everything.
There was an example of a Samsung fridge that it would send a push notification to your phone if it was
open.
Yeah, if the door is open. Yeah. So it's like, so why don't you just close it?
I think that we need to move to the IoT, to the smart IoT, things that can do things by themselves instead of just...
Yeah, I don't want to... I'm tired of notifications and sounds and beeps, and I want things that work.
So probably more smart and more automation.
Exactly.
And less connected to the internet.
Yeah, I don't care about the connected to the internet. I want it to work.
To work and to do things, right?
It's 2019 and we're still arguing about Bluetooth and printers.
Oh yes, Bluetooth and printers. That's right.
Printers. Yeah. Especially if you want to make millions, printers that work.
And Bluetooth, the drivers for Bluetooth and
Well, Apple
devices.
created the W1 chip.
I don't know.
Maybe more companies will have something alternative to Bluetooth. I don't know.
Right. So the last two ones, money. When it comes to money, ICOs, are they still a thing?
No.
Okay, good.
Well, yes, some people still make money out of them, but they are
They're just vanishing.
they're vanishing.
Yeah, that's
Finally,
good.
that's good. Yes.
Right. More scrutiny when it
Yep.
comes to money. People need to explain what they're doing with the money,
Yep.
either with startups or within the enterprise.
You see VCs being more giving more scrutiny when
Yeah.
they want to invest in startups. They demand more information.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that the money will be well spent, well invested. It's not kind of like the trend that we've seen until now of, well, that's a nice picture. Here's $1 million. No,
Okay.
I think investors American investors at least are following more the European style of
Yeah.
being more sober on the topic.
And the last one is about stocks shortage. So what I mean with this is that, first of all, I don't think that companies will give more stocks options to their employees. I think that's something that happened in the past. Not sure if that's going to happen this year as much as happened the last 10 years or so. But I think that there will be also less stocks because the market is going to face some troubles ahead. With the UK and the US probably, so we're going to see some down. The market is probably going down. We saw that last year a couple of times. Remember when the stocks just went down in the market, pretty low in the United States and also in Europe. So I think it's going to be a problem next year.
Okay.
I think when it comes to stocks, not with startups, but I think with Amazon is gonna have another co-founder. Amazon. Have you heard? But that's going to be a different story. That's not going to be for startups. It's going to be fun to see everyone that owns stocks at Amazon, how we're going to deal with another founder or someone with the same kind of value as Jeff Bezos owning the company. But that will be interesting to see. That's kind of my opinion when it comes to money. I think that also people will have access to capital and venture capital. I think that's going to be standard. But as you just said, it's going to be more scrutiny. It's going to be, people need to be more dedicated to what and present
more results.
Present more results, obviously. And the last one, it's about founders. So I'm start with the last one, less bullshit.
Yes, please.
And the other one is about
more time for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think startups nowadays, until now, it's been what I've already seen some people call the hype development. So like, oh my God, this is an amazing tech. I'm going to build something on it. Oh my God, like we've seen like in the beginning of 2018 where blockchain was the fever. Every founder out there was building a startup with blockchain, whatever it was, blockchain for dogs, for cats, for balloons, for string guns, or I don't know, whatever it was. And of course, most of them just died. I think, and nowadays there's more and more people talking about stuff like, well, God, I forgot the term. The hustle porn or the pain porn, like if you're not suffering, then you're not doing enough. So more people are starting to realize that, okay, I don't need to put myself in this amount of pain or this amount of bullshit.
Yeah.
I can just focus
on the work that I need to do. Yeah.
Focus on the work I need to do, focus on my team, and focus on a proper business, and stop saying I'm creating a business based on data-based AI built on top of the blockchain with a data lake and stuff. Like just focus on the product and what you're building, what the value, and stop the bullshit of the buzzwords and all of that stuff. Yeah.
But also, it's not just that, but also having time for family and having time to think about business. I see a lot of people, founders saying that this year they're going to read more, they're going to meditate more, they're going to spend more time outside. I think that's gonna be something different this year.
Put your family first, and then you can worry about the meditation and stuff like that.
Probably that could be a good option.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I can't remember who it was, and this guy was talking about how he was an advisor for startups and leadership position for leaderships training, stuff like that. And in the company was before already doing these courses. The company told him, well, I know you just had your kid, but it's important that you do this conference call. And if you do this, the company will value you. And he was kind of undecided what to do, and he decided to take the phone call. And after the phone call, you realized well, I was an idiot. I just exchanged time with my wife and my kid. It just
For something useful.
for a phone call was a startup without trying to teach them values, and I just did the opposite of what I want them to do. So just don't do that.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the 2019 predictions.
Well, predictions, advice,
exactly.
topics, chats.
Well, I think we are going to have a lot to talk this year. If we're going to talk about these predictions throughout the months, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk. And that's it. Episode number 1, first of 2019.
Or
episode 17 of the entire series. That's it. And well, that's all from my side.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.